right back, Charlie.
Still the foot.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
There's always just that active red line defending. I think it's like there's always just that active red line defending. I think it's like there's always just that active red line defending. I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Same-ish, different day, people. Take 2 settings. People deluded, I'm back again. As usual, whether you're locked in on YouTube or Twitch, appreciative to have you lot tuned in. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. It's the one single most important thing that helps the platform grow. Don't forget to comment any thoughts. It's a live stream. It'd be boring talking to myself. So any questions, talking points, etc., feel no sort of way about getting them in. So hit the like button, subscribe, comment, do all of that good stuff. Check out the previous content that's come out. Make sure your notifications bells on. Make sure you're following on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Information's in the description. Twitch gang, one love, man. Appreciate you. Chelsea have contacted Jose Mourinho. Check Twitter. I mean, you're hearing Lampard interim, Jose Mourinho, Enrique. It's a circus over there at Chelsea, and it's fun to watch, actually, because it doesn't involve us. Thankfully, you know, Arsenal, we've got a project. We've got stability. Obviously, things can happen in life, like in football. Everything is not going to look rosy, and things and changes might have to happen one day, positively or negatively. But yeah, man, it's amazing to see happening elsewhere, and I don't know what's quite going on at Chelsea, but shout out to them. Conte might make a comeback too. Even Conte's been linked, but it's bare whispers. It's bare whispers, you know. Again, if people are being contacted, fair enough. And for Chelsea, to be fair to them, they have to gauge interest with everyone. They have to talk with Luis Enrique, Nagelsmann, Conte, Lampard, Jose, and anyone, you know, the Sporting Lisbon gaffer, Ruben Amorim, or whatever his name is, and vet them and see who'd be a perfect fit, really. You know, to get Lampard, that just tells me it's a feel-good factor. We're trying to get some positive atmosphere going with the, you know, match-going fans, and let's just save what's left of our season, where the Champions League in the last 8, 9, 10 games are concerned. It's nice not being bantered for once. Amen, man. And hopefully this season is a sign of things to come, and this isn't a blip of sorts or anything of that nature, man. Twitch gang, one love for having you lot tuned in. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. It is nice not being bad. In fact, where did you see that? Let me go on Sky Sports. David Moyes is under pressure, which is true. Newcastle dealt with West Ham. United won against Brentford. Fair enough. Speaking of managers, how's David Moyes? How's David Moyes still got his job? Like, surely David Moyes has got to be the next one to go. Even based on yesterday, when you see the big up Fabianski, but when you saw that, you know, that mistake from Fabianski where he's come off his line and then been, you know, someone's tapped it into an open net, surely the players are playing against you. Shout out the night. But once again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. There's no point wasting any time, people. Let's see exactly what's going on in the world of football. First thing I want to say, people, again, I was just humoring myself. And I saw on BBC they had a Liverpool combined 11. This is the first one I went with, really. Now, you had to kind of make it mixed. Fabinho's form's been terrible, but if Fabinho plays like the Fabinho that's historically been at Liverpool, I think this is quite a decent 11. I wanted to get Martinelli in there. I wanted to get Benjamin White in there. I think Gabriel should be there. Obviously, current form dictates a lot of things, but I went with Alisson, Trent. Again, Trent and Zinchenko as inverted fullbacks. No one's getting the ball. Fabinho and Partey as security. Van Dijk and Saliba, the two light-skinned brothers. You know, you're not going to get past them monsters, really. You've got Partey and Fabinho being the safety net, and then you've got Salah, Saka, Odegaard, Jesus. I think this team will cook still. It'll be peak for anybody. Big up yourself, Dennis. Did you watch El Clasico last night, bro? Shout out to Benzema. I did, actually. Shout out to Benzema. Barcelona got given the runaround. Even Camavinga is just dealing with Raphinha disgustingly as well. Gavi's a fantastic player, but he needs to focus on actually playing football and not fouling done. And it was a bitter pill to swallow for Barcelona. And it just shows Barcelona's problems, essentially. Like they've got, pardon me, a lot that they need to work on, essentially. So, yeah, man, it's actually not that bad, to be fair. Exactly. And then if I change up the thing, like, again, how do you restart this? It didn't say save. Let's do it again. Listen, Alisson on form's better than Ramsdale, isn't it? But you could go Benjamin, full bias included, Gabriel. I'm a fan of Van Dijk still. Midfield, I don't think no Liverpool midfield, especially on current form, could talk. I think that's where Arsenal win it. Midfield, like Liverpool strikers and defenders and goalie, yeah, but I'm not on current form, you know, Fabinho, I'm having him, but his form's appalling, isn't it? And I think Arsenal, if that's one place where arguably all of our midfielders start in a combined 11, it's Arsenal against Liverpool, isn't it? So, what was I going to do there? Partey, Granit, forcing. This is where you could have Firmino in there for some Brazilian stuff. It could be lit as a 10, obviously. And then it probably would mean Saka missing out. But I was thinking, where's Martinelli? And then obviously Gabby Jesus, man. That's it, bro. Teams are getting dealt with in that regards, man. But yeah, that was just me humoring myself. I'm sure you've all seen online, Aaron Ramsdale's been speaking to Arsenal.com people, and I was reading it, but it started to get a bit interesting, so I thought, let me save it. Where is it? He spoke about his fiance's brother's a big Arsenal fan. That's great. He spoke about his title ambitions. That's great. He then spoke about this. This wasn't quite it. Where is it? I think it's around here, people. I think it's around here. Yeah, here it is. As individuals, you know who the best teams are. And for the past 4 or 5 years, that's been Manchester City and Liverpool. Man City are still doing it this season. So you know what the benchmark is. I think that's what we're excited for as well, because we don't want this to just be one season where we're fighting at the top. We want this to be our first stepping stone. Next season, go again with Champions League football too, and try to balance Premier League and European football. Go again and again and keep improving. And then he went on to say, if I ever find myself complaining or needing motivation, my dad would tell me about my granddad, Ron, who died before I was born. If I was ever on the phone to my dad, I couldn't get up for this training session or whatever, my dad would pretty quickly tell me to remember where I am. He reminded me that my granddad had chose to become a teacher over being a professional footballer because of his dad. So I needed to realize how privileged I am. But to be honest, I have enough motivation inside me and around me that he hasn't needed to say that. My fiance keeps me going. My family do as well. And, well, there's plenty to play for, isn't there? Shout out to Aaron Ramsdale, man. I thought that was quite a good, interesting video. And him mocking Turner's Americanisms is funny. It is, man. It is. What did he say about Turner to Kevin De Bruyne? It's a dogfight out there. You got to shout out to him. Away from that, though, allegedly, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Arsenal all have serious interest in signing Brighton midfielder Alexis Mac Allister in the upcoming summer transfer window. Smash the like button, people. With 2 of those clubs already negotiating a move. It all depends where you look at it, really and truly, in that regards. But I'm having Mac Allister. I don't think it's that deep if you don't get him, but yeah, nonetheless. And I think this is echoing it as well. You got to remember, his dad said he is getting offers. The man himself said he would like his next club to be in the Premier League. He did sign a contract before the end of, before the World Cup came about, so there might be that to bear in mind as well. And as we know, Brighton are very difficult negotiators, so we'll have to see how that develops. Arsenal remain keen on star who can now be cleared for 70 million transfer. Brighton colleague of Mac Allister, Alexis Mac Allister, Caicedo. Arsenal reportedly remain keen on a potential transfer deal for Brighton midfielder Caicedo, and it could now be that Brighton would accept an offer in the region of 70 million to let the talented young Ecuador international go, according to Football Insider. Caicedo is one of the finest young players in Europe. I think he's up there for actually tackles or ball recoveries in the Premier League, and one of the top midfielders in the Premier League. So the Gunners would undoubtedly do well to bring him in to give them fresh legs in the middle of the park. I'd agree. Although although Mikel Arteta's side are having a superb season with influential performances from the likes of Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka and Jorginho, they could do with someone younger coming in soon. Amen. Caicedo looks an ideal fit for Arsenal's style of play, though the report from Football Insider also mentions that Liverpool and Chelsea could be in the race for the 21-year-old signature as well. Still, with Arsenal almost certain to be in the Champions League next season, while Chelsea and Liverpool will probably miss out, that should surely give Arteta's men the edge in any transfer battle. If Brighton get top four, you could say that there's no need for any of those players to leave. Top four, therefore, isn't impossible for them. It isn't. They could say, listen, look what we're building. We want to hang on to players. And for some of these players, not Alexis McAllister, who plays for Argentina, and obviously Ecuador in Caicedo's case, you've got a Euros to potentially think about. Maybe even a Copa America next year. Admittedly, I don't know. But I do think there's a gentleman's agreement to a degree, regardless of what could happen. Again, with Brighton, it comes down to give them what they feel the player's worth. If you can't negotiate, then it's a myth. If we go for Telemans, get their owners out, be harsh. Deluded, Raphinha is meaty, man. You guys did the right decision not buying him. I like Raphinha. I still think there's a talent, and he seemed like he was turning a corner of sorts at Barca. But I think a lot of what... He's not Nicolas Pepe, but when I look at Nicolas Pepe, for example, when I look at Raphinha, a lot of the things you're saying in their game, clearly Raphinha's better than him. You don't want to hear people saying that about you at 26, 27, really. Like, Raphinha, you can't play on the left-hand side. You need this, you need that. I do think I'll give Raphinha light with Mudryk next season, but it does look like a bullet's been dodged in that regards. But if Arteta wanted him, maybe his luck could have been different, really. Speaking of that, obviously, El Clasico was last night. Real Madrid dealt with Barcelona, and they've said Arsenal could move for Raphinha this summer. He suffered humbling El Clasico defeat last night. Arsenal are open to a move for Barcelona winger Raphinha this summer, although it's currently unclear if they're willing to sell him. That's according to journalist Dean Jones, who was speaking about the Brazilian to Give Me Sport. Let's see specifically what he has said, people. Arsenal are moving on and looking at other players for that position. I'm sure they will still be open to it if Raphinha was genuinely on the market. We know Barcelona need money, but it doesn't seem at the moment like that's the player that they're going to cash in on. I'm not sure that Raphinha will be going there, which is true. You know, there's rumours Fatty could leave. Well, go on, Killy. If Leao doesn't sign a deal at Milan, Arsenal should go all in for him. I hear that. And, you know, on ability, Raphinha, Rafael Leao's a very good player, very exciting player, got skills, got pace, got all of that sort of stuff. But when I look beyond my admiration for the guy and his evident ability, unless he could be converted into a striker or perform well off the right-hand side, I'm not sure I really want to do it, you know, in the sense of he probably plays best off the left-hand side. And if you look at Arsenal's front three, that's probably the area that we've got the most competition, you know. Up front, I know you've got Trossard and Martinelli could play up there, and you've got the luxury of maybe Balogun getting an opportunity. Balogun's irrelevant for this season. I do think Raphael could be molded into a striker, but on paper, I have to go with what I can see in front of me. You've got Eddie Nketiah and Jesus up front, right? You've got Reece Nelson and Marquinhos, who's on loan, who can play on the right-hand side, but they're not talking to Saka on the best of days. God forbid, unless Saka is injured, they're not getting a looking like that. It's just Saka on that right-hand side. When you look on the left, obviously, you've got Martinelli, you've got Trossard. You've got players who can play on the right-hand side, but on the left-hand side, you've got Trossard, you've got a Smith-Rowe, you know, you've got probably Nelson who prepares to play over there. You've obviously got Martinelli. You've got a wealth of options over there. So unless he's going to be molded into a striker, which I think he's got the raw components to. He's got good height, you know, he's got good link-up play, would have to improve with his back to goal. Personally think that's a myth, really and truly, where Leao's concerned. But why not, man? You know, I'm sure Pepe will still say good things about Arsenal. Obviously, Gabriel's obviously been a Leao boy as well, so why not? Once again, this article is just speaking about the 70 million battle with Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal for Moises Caicedo, which the 21-year-old's more than welcome. He's ready for that 6 role. He's got a different sort of that South American hunger. Like, he's different. You hear him. He wants to get money to look after his family and things like that. He's obviously playing quite well for Brighton. I'm having him every day of the week. Declan Rice, make sure you get on the phone to Mikel Arteta, because I saw the West Ham result last night and the performance and the sheer way Newcastle was, big up Newcastle, the way they were scoring, they were having too much fun out there. And Eddie Howe was somewhat critical of his team as well, same way. Allegedly, we're also linked with Jesper Limstrong. Arsenal are named today as one of the potential destinations for Eintracht Frankfurt midfielder Jesper Limstrong. That's reported by Sky Germany, who features a story about the departures that could happen at the Bundesliga side this summer. Their piece claims Frankfurt are actually ready to let the 23-year-old move on this summer, and that's where Arsenal get a mention. Smash the like button. It's claimed that the Gunners are one of the clubs with whom contact has already been made. Regarding the price to take Limstrong out of the German club, Sky Sports claim a realistic price for his transfer would be between 35 to 40 million euros. There might be better value elsewhere. Arsenal just need to be aware about the competition from the Premier League for his signing, just because Liverpool are also said to be in for the midfielder. At this stage of the season, it's normal for us to see repeated links between players and clubs, but this seems to be a fresh rumour coming from the German media. Limstrong has 9 goals and 4 assists for Frankfurt this season and is currently valued by transfer mark at 28 million euros, people. So, yeah, man. Arsenal have a desire to sign Everton's Amadou Onana after a failed attempt in January. That's according to reports from Belgium, who say the midfielder didn't leave the Toffees in the last window since he didn't want to abandon them in their fight to avoid relegation. As you know, Everton currently find themselves 16th in the table, level on points with Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. It's certain the 21-year-old will leave Goodison Park if they get relegated. I'm having Onana. He's got good physical quality in line with the modern game. He's obviously got a good technical ability as well, as you saw with that cheeky bit of skill repeatedly against Partey. We wanted him when he was at Lyon. At least scouted him, so we know how we could use him. He's got his best days in front, and he gives us another option in midfield. So I'm not really for the 60, 70 million shouts that we've seen in articles. I'd rather spend that or attempt to spend that in an attempt to get Declan Rice or Caicedo or Zubimendi at Sociedad, but who knows, people. So yeah, long story short, if Everton go down, there's a couple of players that can get moves. It's claimed the Gunners have been in constant contact with the Belgium international's entourage over a potential deal in the summer. Mikel Arteta's side would also be delighted to know the player feels ready to take the next step in his career. Everton are also willing to raise funds from his sale and are aiming to earn between 60 to 70 million euros. This, coupled with Onana's desire to take the next step, makes his exit almost certain after the season. Arsenal want to attract Onana in the next window and have been told the conditions needed to carry out the operation. What I believe is that Arsenal are fielding and vetting several candidates. You know, we're seeing the feasibility of getting Onana, getting Declan Rice, getting Caicedo, getting this guy, that guy, and the third, and seeing where we can go. Because, you know, as you know, with the Premier League, you can go all like we've seen in Jan and last summer. You can bid all you like. Sometimes the conditions aren't right. I don't think listen respectfully. I think Declan Rice is a good player. I think Caicedo is, and I think Onana is. None of them are worth what we'd have to pay in moment of time at that exact instance. But if they can perform and whatnot, who cares? It's a bit like Benjamin White. He weren't worth 50 million at the time. For what he's given to Arsenal, what he's doing, I think he's worth it now. But at the same time, he's doing his job. The money don't matter if the player bangs, really and truly. How much would he go for if they go down is the question. They cannot command 60 million from the Championship, surely. There you have it. You know, maybe about 40. And at the same time, if he makes it clear he wants to leave, that helps everyone. What probably goes against him is that he's 21 and he's probably got a significant amount of time on his deal, and there might be better value elsewhere. You know, I like Onana, but I think we've seen Declan Rice, what he can do. We've seen what Caicedo could do. So we'd have to see. Again, everyone's going to get linked with everyone. I think there would be a short list, and you see the feasibility. If we can't get Declan or we can't get Caicedo, or you get one of the two, maybe we go elsewhere. Telemans and Rice would be my midfield picks for the recruitment this summer. I'm confident that the culture at the club will get the best out of Telemans, despite his current form. No brainer on a free transfer. We should have gotten Onana instead of Lokonga. Amen. If West Ham go down, would you take Paqueta? On ability, I would take Paqueta, but I'd have to say no, because obviously he's a good player. We've wanted him from when he was at Lyon and AC Milan. I just feel, wow, if he signed, I wouldn't be against it. It's another good technical player. I don't necessarily think he's better than what we have. Like, I do think at this moment in time, he's better than Fabio Vieira, but we've just significantly invested in Fabio Vieira. I don't think he plays in the 10 ahead of Odegaard. I'd rather fit Smith Rowe. Obviously, he can play as an 8, potentially in that Xhaka role, which all three of these guys or four could say. You're not necessarily a curtain raiser. You could come here, look better with better players and stuff, but you don't evidently raise us. You increase our depth. You give us an option. You're experienced, Brazilian and that. Edu and Arteta wanted you, so I'll be here for that. But it's a bit like Raphinha. I try to look past the fact that you're a good player. If it's just an ability, of course, bring him. But we've got to raise it. And again, the conditions might not have been right, but we was linked with Paqueta. We was linked with Fabio Vieira. We elected to spend the money on Fabio Vieira. So it just feels like this opportunity's probably left us, really. I suspect we can only afford one of Rice, McAllister, Caicedo, and Onana, all pretty expensive. I hear that. I blame company. He finessed us, said he was the next Yaya Toure. Boy, if Burnley get promoted, Lokonga's got to go specifically to Burnley to play under company. You said that he's the next Yaya Toure. Show us Yaya Toure stuff. Essentially, appreciate you lot's comments. Smash the like button. Keep your thoughts coming. Twitch gang, don't feel left out as well. But yeah, to be honest with you, you know, if West Ham go down, there's a couple of players away from Declan Rice. I don't know where West Ham fans got their drugs, but at one point in time, they tried to compare Bowen to Saka. Big up Bowen, but listen, Saka is serious. You can't listen. It's different. But I would have Bowen, right-hand side, squad option. That, he's shown he's decent in the Prem. I would have him, really and truly. I can't, obviously, there's English tax, and if they go down and all that sort of stuff. But beyond a certain fee, I wouldn't mind Bowen. I wouldn't mind Paqueta. I evidently want Declan Rice. I think that's probably it, really. You know what? He's the black youth that plays right back. Ben Johnson, you could be what Ainsley should have been, just a calm, steady Eddie, comes into the team and do your thing when required, if I'm honest. Sorry, people, I'm thirsty. So yeah, I would. But moving away from that, and closing that, big up you lot, because we're moving forward. Closing that. You can see I was getting my thumbnails. Arsenal could sign Milinkovic-Savic for 35 million, according to reports from Italy. Arsenal could sign Lazio midfielder Sergi Milinkovic-Savic on a cut price deal in the next transfer window. The Serbian international has long been linked with a Premier League transfer, and a move could materialise this summer amid contract standoff with Lazio. As per reports from Italy, the midfielder has yet to accept terms over a new contract beyond 2024, and this could pave the way for his summer departure. Liverpool are looking at Rodrigo de Paul. You were sick at Udinese. Don't know what happened to you at Atletico, but fair enough. We've been linked with Milinkovic-Savic for time. On ability, I'm having him. I'm not too sure there's any creditable people linking us with him. I do think Arsenal like the player. I do think we maybe even scouted him. We heard last summer we bidded for him and he said no because we're not doing what we're doing now, a bit like Vlahovic. So I'd bring them if you could, but if you didn't want to starve with us, you shouldn't be allowed to get a seat at the table, really. But for what it's worth, Lazio, again, have offered Milinkovic-Savic different contract terms. Lazio have reportedly made a different contract proposal to Sergi Milinkovic-Savic, hoping to push back on Arsenal, PSG, Juventus, Chelsea, and Manchester United with a release clause. As you know, he's contracted until 2024. Contract negotiations have been dragging. It's widely expected he's going to keep it moving. The 28-year-old allegedly has been offered a 2-year proposal with an increased salary, people. The big change is that it would include a release clause, therefore allowing Milinkovic-Savic to leave if the correct offer came in. What is the correct release clause? Bearing in mind, as the article says at the end here, they wanted 100 million last summer. They're now looking to get 40. And if they're asking for 40 with someone that's 28, regardless of where he signs people, he's going to get more than a net salary in England of 4 million. So he's going to be on over 100 grand a week. He's 28. He's got a year left. When you factor in, a lot of people don't factor, and I'm no transfer man, but one thing, just bidding 40 million doesn't mean you're just giving 40 million up front. There's all different ways of getting the money to the other party, and also the true cost of a transfer. Signing on fee and the wages paid over time have to be included. For a lot of these clubs, it's not just 40 million. So if he's on 100 odd grand, you spent 40 million on someone that at the end of the year, beginning of next year, you can get for free. I don't know where they stand on that, but he's got no shortage of suitors, as you can see here. Arsenal, United, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain. And it looks like he wants to keep it moving, people. For what it's worth, though, the Lazio president and sporting director are under negotiation for moving a bit bookie, people, with capital gains and that. So they might have to sell players and balance the books, really and truly. And once again, the Juventus have been linked. They're trying to insert a release clause. So maybe that is something. Lazio have given you a platform. Maybe you say, you know what, put a release clause of 40 million euros if somebody really wants me, which you could see certain other clubs paying that. I don't think Arsenal would go for such, though, man. The Bowen Saka comparisons aged like milk. That Akonku is getting good game time in Austria, decent performances, 3 clean sheets and 7 starts. Let him do his thing. Diaby, Sane, Leao, Raphinha, who do you take? It's different. Out of all of them, I'd rule out Raphinha for me personally. And then it gets a bit difficult because if Leao could be converted by Mikel Arteta into a striker, I think he'd be a very good one. Obviously, he can play off the left as well. That could mean Trossard probably plays more off the right and we're a bit cute. So I'd say that. I do like Diaby. I think there's a contrast between how he plays on the right to the left. I'd say Sane can play right and left a lot more balanced than Diaby. So it'd probably be between them three. I can't really pick. I'd say Leao. Leao, then Diaby, then Sane. On ability, Sane, but Sane's got a lot of baggage and a lot of injuries and inconsistencies and all of these things. And if you sign for us, having played in the Premier League, Sane, for me, you need to be a curtain raiser. Still think Ainsley's got a future if he accepts his role as a squad player. I think he does, but in terms of accepting a squad player, but I think it's done now. I never rule it out. You got a year left. Maybe Arteta says, you know what, that could be a little right back option if you don't get Fresneda. He obviously likes to play midfield. You look at how Benjamin White plays. He's narrow a lot of the time and gets to go forward. Potentially, you could do what Zinchenko is doing on the right-hand side in your own little way. You're a Haylander, etc. Since the turn of the year, he's really been putting in some decent performances for Southampton. But one has to imagine Ainsley's gone, if I'm in my opinion. Milinkovic-Savic for 30 million smells like BS. Never 30 million. The only player I'm taking from Leicester is Maddison, not Telemans. To be fair, Leicester got a couple players. I wouldn't be against Harvey Barnes. I wouldn't be against Maddison or Telemans. There's a couple, really. I'm definitely missing out a few of them. Wouldn't mind Luke Thomas. I like him at fullback. You could be a good little backup to Zinchenko if T and he keeps it moving. Dewsbury Hall would be okay for the squad. There's definitely a next one I'm missing out at Leicester. They got decent little play. James Justin, obviously, he's had a terrible time with injuries, but that could be a good little right back option. Can play left, can play right. One of them since his Luton days, as you can see when I did a vid. This will be his last big contract. There you have it. I feel Milinkovic-Savic isn't that right profile because of his age. Xhaka and Partey have been great this year, but they are both approaching or already in their 30s. You'd imagine Arteta and that wants someone younger to play under them. I hear that. Victor Rug News, I think I've got an article there somewhere. Sane easily, Liao. It's a difficult one because Sane's got baggage. Like, you've got question marks over your private life now, over your consistent hype level performances, over, over your just doing the business. Your ability isn't in question. But if we sign Sane, you need to be a curtain raiser. You need to do what Jesus and Zinchenko, Thomas Partey at the time did as well. You need to raise this. I don't want to. The things I've been saying about Raphinha and Sane are completely different. But if you're Reece Nelson, or Saka's an exception, but if you're a young 21-year-old in Saka, I'm here for it. I'll entertain that. I don't really want to be saying these things about someone that is in the latter stages. We're doing this youngster thing. You're going to be one of the most experienced players. For what it's worth, Sane is probably a non-starter, man. Kosange, decent. We need a bad boy / Tekker's winger, the likes of Liao and KK from Napoli. Hey, boy, if we could ever afford it, which we probably can't. I don't want Raphinha, neither do I. Maybe Eddie was cooking something, rejecting the Wolves offer. I hear that. I think Sane is the closest to a world-class player out of all of them. I hear that. But I wouldn't discount Diaby's ability or potential to get better, if I'm honest with you. 23 likes. Can we do better? This is a terrible stream in terms of engagement, ain't it? We go again. What else have we seen here? Has Marquinhos been good on loan? He's been okay. Not really done much since he scored an assist. He got a terrible red card. Weren't his fault. I don't know what the ref was doing. The ref must have had a dodgy bet on. Once again, we've seen allegedly Arsenal would be interested in possibly bringing Raphinha to the Emirates this summer, people. Arsenal are moving on and looking at other players in that position. I'm sure they would still be open to if Raphinha was genuinely on the market. We know Barcelona need money, but it doesn't seem at the moment like that's the player they're going to cash in on. I'm not sure that Raphinha will be there. We read that already. So, yeah, man, Milinkovic-Savic, I'm not too sure on such. We've been linked with Brahim Diaz the last few days, people, and allegedly we're meant to make an offer. We're willing to invest 26 million quid for him, whatever that means. In relation to Telemans, we did hear Arsenal have open talks with Leicester City midfielder Yuri Telemans. Newcastle and Barcelona are also interested. Apparently, the 25-year-old is out of contract in the summer as clubs look to chase him on a free transfer, although Football Insider has learned that Telemans' wage demands are high, which could rule him out of things. Maybe he's not worth value for money in that regards, people. Fabrizio Romano is weighed in on Onana, and he said, Onana is attracting interest again, as some fans asked me about reports mentioning both Chelsea and Arsenal. He was on Chelsea's list in January, but I'm not sure yet if something's concrete for them in the summer. Arsenal have different names in the list at this stage. I think his price tag would be close to 55 to 60 million euros. Crazy. I don't think he's not necessarily not worth that, but yeah, if you didn't see it yesterday, allegedly, Fabrizio said, understand negotiations are currently underway between Arsenal and Reece Nelson's reps for a contract extension. Current deal expires in June. Arteta would be happy to keep Reece, while more European clubs are showing interest in a potential free transfer. Fair enough, Reece Nelson. Big up yourself. Put yourself in the shop window. We did hear yesterday, we're moving closer, allegedly, with Ben Jacobs to getting Saliba on a new deal. Apparently, he said Saliba was only born 6 kilometers from Paris, so links between PSG and Saliba are only natural. But I fully expect Arsenal to get Saliba locked down to a long-term contract. Why wouldn't he want to stay at the club where he's playing regularly and where he could well end up being a Premier League winner? And if everything goes according to plan for Arsenal, they'll be challenging for the Champions League next season as well. And Saliba want to be a big part of that. I'm not too sure about challenging for the Champions League, pardon me, but we'll be in it. Apparently, Austin Trusty revealed he was going to sign for Leeds until Arsenal got involved, people. which is good for us. We can make some money. I was actually going to Leeds, then Arsenal came in the picture, and I just basically said, make this happen. I let my agent do all that kind of stuff, and I just focus on football because what I was doing in Colorado was attracting the attention of the likes of Arsenal. Sooner or later, I ended up signing with them. Big up you. You're doing quite well on loan. Got yourself called up as a full American international. We've been linked with Vlahovic, whether you believe it or not. Apparently, he'd be open to finally moving to North London this summer, people. Allegedly. Scrolling all the way down. With the old lady unlikely to qualify for the Champions League again this season, journalist Pete O'Rourke has made the bold claim that the Gunners could return to sign Vlahovic after all. Smash the like button, YouTube ones. With the Evening Standard claiming that Arsenal want a more physical striker, the 6'3" Serbian more than fits the mold for another option to Jesus for boss Mikel Arteta. Vlahovic was a big target for Arsenal prior to the move to Juventus. They're keeping tabs on his situation, and a number 9 is a position that Arteta would like to strengthen for next season as well. I'm sure Vlahovic would definitely be interested in a move to Arsenal, especially if they win the Premier League and are playing in the Champions League next season as well. Arsenal in talks with £62 million Everton player as surprise Declan Rice alternative. Again, this is probably in relation to Onana. We've seen this already, people, so I'm not going to bore you lot with repeating myself. Somebody asked about Victor Orug. If we scroll the way down, we know there's 1 minute he's going Barca, then he's in talks with Arsenal and Chelsea. Yesterday, when we looked at it, you could literally see Man United, Arsenal, Aston Villa, West Ham, several teams linked with going for him. But for what it's worth, Rug is widely thought to be one of them, but it won't be easy as Paranaense have apparently slapped a 50 million euros in brackets 44 million pound price tag on his head, not to mention a 15% sell-on clause. Barcelona, according to recent reports, are attempting to sign the 18-year-old on a season-long loan deal with the obligation to buy at the end of next season to try and work around their financial stuff, man. They're two different players, man. You know, Trusty can play left back, but he's a centre-half, man. Now, according to 90 Minute, there's been an update on Arsenal's interest, and it could spell some encouragement. The North Londoners, alongside Chelsea, are both in contact with Rogue's reps over a potential move. Barcelona are in there too, and while the Nou Camp is his preferred destination, Rogue's agents have assured both Arsenal and Chelsea that he's still open to the idea of joining either one of them in England. In a further boost for Arteta, it's added that the teenager's current club are unconvinced by Barcelona's loan to buy obligation proposal, opening the door for other suitors to swoop in. Very talented player, man. So why not? What's this? £27 million star wants to be a big part of success at the Emirates. What's this? In relation to Saliba, we've seen this already. So we got done there. Let's see what goal.com is saying. Scrolling all the way up. Not a fan of how it doesn't take you to the top, but half of these rumors are probably going to be hella unrealistic. Apparently, Mikel Arteta wants to sign Djibril Sow from Eintracht Frankfurt, the Swiss midfielder. We're ready to splash 60 to 70 million euros on Onana. We're eyeing Baku from Wolfsburg, the right back. We're set to go for Caicedo in the summer. We're keeping tabs on Ollie Watkins. We're looking at player swaps potentially with Zinchenko or Tini for Theo Hernandez. We're keeping tabs on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We're set to offer Granit Xhaka and or Pepe for Vlahovic. £100 million bid is being mooted for Declan Rice. A 55 million price tag has been slapped on the head of Raphinha by Barcelona. We're pushing to sign Limstrong. We're keeping tabs on Tchouameni and Eric Garcia. We're looking at Sasha Boy of Galatasaray. Boy, Paqueta hit hype and links. Ramos Højlund links. Lavia links. So we're gonna have to, you lot are gonna have to draw whatever conclusions you seek from there. It seems like all West, if I'm completely honest with you. Don't forget, on Sunday we're doing a watch along for Liverpool versus Arsenal, people. It kicks off at 4:30, and I'll be live at 3:30. I'm trying to see if there's any other Arsenal news. What's going on here? I think there's some Fresnel hypes in that. Let's see what's going on here. Dani Ceballos mocking Barcelona. Dani Ceballos a top troll. That's never going to stop. Again, people, doubling down on McAllister. Arsenal now seriously interested in signing one of the best players at the World Cup. Arsenal have been named amongst the clubs who are seriously interested in signing McAllister. Renowned South American journalist Cesar Luis Mero stated that Arsenal, Liverpool, United are all very keen on the Argentine, who was described as one of the best players at the World Cup, allegedly. Pardon me, what specifically has he said? Nothing really. So we'll have to see where that's concerned. Arsenal need to move quickly to sign 18-year-old Arteta target. Player delighted with Gunner's interest. Over the January transfer window, Arsenal were one of the clubs keen on signing Ivan Fresnadal from Real Valladolid. He was very delighted and proud about that. The 18-year-old has surprised everyone this season with his performances in La Liga. I mean, if you could bring him and Gabby Vega, I'm all for it. And that's why clubs like the Gunners have been circling alongside Borussia Dortmund and Sporting CP. However, if my football are to be believed on Thursday, it's the German side who have taken the lead and could beat everyone, including Arsenal, to the punch. They know this is because Sporting recently came forward to seek information about the Spaniard, only to be told the Bundesliga side have advanced in negotiations to sign Fresnadal. They mention he's also a target for Arsenal, but it's believed the Germans will prevail at this moment in time. This means that should Mikel Arteta really want to work with his compatriot at the Emirates next season, they'll have to move very quickly to avoid losing the race to Dortmund. The right back has made 16 appearances in all comps this season for La Liga side, including starting and finishing the last 4 league games, people. So yeah, draw whatever conclusions you want to draw with that. Man just said F Bayern. What did Bayern do? Bring Declan Rice. Barca doing loan to buy offers for players from Brazil. They're broke. So Trusty is kind of like holding completely different. I can't lie. I think Trusty's a bit more assured of himself. Sometimes he gets caught flat-footed in that. But yeah, blessings, DG. Hope you have a good long weekend, bro. James, appreciate you for being a channel member. And you're always here. And I always see your comments just in the normal videos, not the live. Appreciate it, man. I'm right back at you and everybody. King, you couldn't have worded that better. Hit the like button, smash the likes if you don't want unexpected high builds. If you want Arsenal to address the midfield situation, smash the like button. Diaz, Source, Napoli. Diaz is a great player. Like, you know, I remember one game that will always stick out for me. He used to play for Man City. I remember the under-21s played Arsenal at the Emirates, and he was different gravy, different great. You can see why I'm sure he's been called up to Spain. He's played for AC Milan. He's played for City. He's played for Madrid. He's saucy. He can take people on 1v1, can play narrow in the 10 role. You can see why Mikel Arteta likes him, but I try to just not look at ability. Are you a curtain raiser? Probably not. You're one that not like Trossard, but you're like Trossard in that you can play a couple of roles, so you don't necessarily pigeonhole yourself into a role. You've got scope to grow because you're 23. Real Madrid might use him next season, or they might sell him. Who knows? I read somewhere that Dybala has a 15 million euro release clause. Would you activate it? No, I wouldn't, because you're going to have to play where Odegaard plays. You could play up front as a false 9, but it's a myth, really. I like Dybala as a footballer. He's a lovely, cultured footballer. Sane maybe can find himself with his old manager, Arteta. Maybe Arteta could leverage his experience with him. You never know. Diaby would do well in the Prem PMP. All right, man. Good, interesting talking points. What I do say, though, regardless, we got to make sure we get someone. You know, Zubamendi, Lavia, Rice, Telemans, any other name. Just make sure we rock up with at least one midfielder come the start of the window. I mean, the end of the window, beginning of the Premier League. Diaz is techie, not a level raiser, but nice addition. Could play right wing in 10 years. So it's another one of them multifunctional ones. DG, can we see you watch clips of players we are linked with on Twitch so we can see why you like them for the team? It's loading, man. It's loading. Allow me. Make sure you're following on Twitch. You're checking your schedules and you've got your notifications. We have done that before and we'll get to do that again, man. Just allow me, man. Allow me. 42 likes. If you've hit the like button, one love. If you haven't, you're breaking my heart. You know, you're breaking it. But I think Arsenal are going to have to be a bit more glamorous. But we can't just sign players because we think they're good. They have to tie into what we have, really. And that's what we'll go for Dybala. Like, Dybala's a quality player, but where do you tie in? You do raise the carpet of this club in your own way, but you're going to play where Odegaard plays. You can play out wide, but it's one of them. You're forcing it. You can play up front. Like, Dybala's a lovely footballer, but he's one of them that, in my opinion, he's one of them to be the best they need to be. You need a bit of love. You need an arm around you. And I've got nothing against that. Even in our team right now, you can see there's some players, probably Reece Nelson, need an arm around you. There's some players that are just dogs. But I'm not going to lie. As much as I've got that Arsene Wenger in me, the romance around that, I ain't got time for that now. We need dogs. We need dogs. We need people that are serious. And I'm not saying you're not serious, but people that don't really need that. People that are with this. Zinchenko, Jesus. Odegaard got shown a bit of love. Smith Rowe as well. Saka got the dog in him. Martinelli as well. Gabriel and Saliba. The manager, Benjamin White, they're just ready. Like, obviously, everyone goes through moments. The manager might have to remind them of their confidence. Even I extend that to Eddie. I think Eddie Nketiah's mentality is amazing. You can say what you want about the player. One thing I like about Eddie, he backs himself. We need a couple more guys like that. Like it's too much Disneyland stuff now. This ain't Disneyland. We need guys that are just hardened. And I hate to use these terms because it feels outdated. We need bastards, like you said. DG, gun to your head. Oof. Give us 5 specific players that we are linked with that you want us to sign. Zubamendi, he's wavy. He could be our Rodri, Spanish midfielder. If you know the Spanish midfielders, you know what needs to be said. Gabby Vigo of Celta Vigo. The more I look at him, the more I'm enticed by what you could do long-term at Arsenal. So that's Zubamendi. That's Gabby Vega. My man, Fresnador. We need a right back. You're 18. You look like you run into midfield when you play right back. I'm for that. So that's Zubamendi, Gabby Vega, Fresnador. Declan Rice, because I think Arteta really wants him. And I think people kind of sleep on the technical level of Declan Rice, and I think you'd be a good addition. Caicedo for them same reasons. And again, we just spoke about needing guys with the dog in them. I think Caicedo's got that. You don't see, not again, I don't want to sound like Graham Souness, but there's no fancy. It's not, he ain't got that Reece James green hair, blonde hair. It's straight level one. He's just serious, you know, socks over his knees. He's serious. We need that. So I'd say that. Where it comes to being linked with the wide men is where I'm a bit pessimistic. I don't really necessarily believe the Raphinha links, the Diaby links, the Sane links, the Leao links. It seems like when you look at right back with Fresnador, it seems like there's tangible interest. There's some substance to it. And where you look at Onana, Telemans, Declan Rice, Caicedo, so on and so forth. So I think I've said about 5 now. He's serious, man. It's not a good boy thing. He's serious. He's serious. Like, guys know that I don't want to eat baked beans and toast anymore. I'm hungry. I'm used to sitting in yards where there's no heating and that, man. But if he dyes his hair blonde, then shamelessly we remix the agenda, really. I'm here for it. Where do you think Fabio Vieira should play? I'm still a bit confused about his position and where we could get the best out of him. Is he comparable to Diaz? Maybe technically, but no, not really. I mean, long term, he's going to end up as an 8 or a 10. The man himself said, I prefer to play 10. I'll play wherever. So he's played 8. He played 10. In periods of this team. But where Fabio Vieira has been a bit unlucky is that the team's done well. When the team's doing well, yeah, players can come in and you don't see other players missing, but there's less opportunities because we're performing. Also, he started off the season on the back foot like Smith Rowe. He joined us injured. Odegaard's gone up the levels. Xhaka's been rebirthed in that 8 role, so you're not playing as a 10 or an 8. For a long period of time, he was getting minutes off the right for Saka, where he can play as a wide playmaker, as a winger, but that's not him, is it really? So you're only going to see that. So I think 10 or an 8 for me. Yo, DG, who are your top 5 candidates for the striker, or if Arsenal deserve to splash the cash in the summer? Difficult, because I don't think there's 5. I don't think there's one I'm 100% convinced with. It's easier said than done, but I'd like us to get on our scouting thing and go and find a Giroud or find an Adebayor when he was at Monaco or something like that, if I'm honest with you. I like Osimhen. The only thing against him is I don't 100% know if you could do this in the Premier League. I do think there's an Italian tax, but Osimhen would be up there. I would ask Arteta if I was the one making decisions. I know Vlahovic did us a bit dirty, and me personally, I don't really want to go down that route. But if you want to go down it, we'll see what could be done. It would never happen. But in life, closed mouths don't get fed. You don't know until you ask. And I know he signed a new deal. And again, we have no chance of getting him. But I just see what City are saying for Julian Alvarez. You don't ask, you don't get. Just a simple conversation. If the email don't get replied to, fair enough, innit? But that... it's difficult. I'm trying to think of other strikers. Can't lie. I know he's not a striker, but if there's a chance to, see what's going on with João Felix, if you don't want to stay at Chelsea and he's still fond of life in London, what could happen? I wouldn't be against Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I'd leave that alone. I like Ollie Watkins, but I'd leave it alone. I mean, if Ivan Toney somehow gets out of that whole betting stuff and Brentford said he could leave, then I think that would be perfect for the squad, man. Vlahovic said he'd be open to joining us. Fair enough. There's the Højlund guy as well. Closed mouths don't get fed, only DG with the gems. I can't lie. I've heard that my whole life, but I can't claim credit for that. But it's true. You don't ask, you don't get in this life. All they can say is no. What about Musa from America that played for us? Yunus Musa. He's not a striker though, but Highlanders are always welcome to return. I don't think he raises the curtain, but a good player who can play out wide, even though he's doing up central. My 5 players would be similar to what you said: Zubamendi, Rice, Diaz, Fresnadar, and Anderson from Palace. I wouldn't be against bringing in Anderson. Very good with a ball at his feet, very decent defender. But for me, you would kind of tie into more of a squad player, if that makes sense. And if he's cool with that, we was linked with him when he's actually on. If he's cool with that, I'm cool with that as well, because respectfully, you're better than Rob Holding. For that, I'm not dissing Rob Holding, you're just better than Rob Holding. And you know, if Tomiyasu's fit next season, you want to see Gabriel and Saliba's partnership blossom. Obviously, you've got the luxury of Benjamin White moving over there if we get any injuries. You know, Arteta can play him centre back, right back, do what you want with him. Tomiyasu, the same logic as well. Then you've have Anderson. I like Holding, you're good for the squad, all of that jazz, but why wouldn't I want my team to sign better players where possible? Balogun is the real deal. I hope so. If we could get Felix for 70 million, I'm all here for it. Is it, again, like I said, you don't know, closed mouths don't get fed. Ask a little question. You don't know until you ask. You know, you got to be audacious. It's not the same, but I'm sure, and the dynamics are different, but I'm sure when we signed Sol Campbell, whether it was David Dean, Arsene Wenger, Joe Bloggs, whoever, someone might have said, well, what are we going to do that for? That's a myth. It's not going to happen. Someone was audacious enough to ask the question. Now, of course, the dynamics, the context is where the clubs are is completely different. White is a don at right back, multifunctional player. I do think he'll get his fair share of time at right back. At centre back throughout his time at Arsenal, as he did last season. But right back is your thing right now. As great as Osimhen is, I think he'll annoy our fan base in games where it doesn't work for us. For instance, the guy shoots from positions he shouldn't shoot from, and a lot of the time they'll pass, so he's a bit greedy. DG, what interests you in Gabby Vega? Spanish midfielder, I'm already sold. He's got, he plays with his head up, great in tight spaces, relatively box to box, could improve physically, good passing range, wants the ball. Like him a lot, man. What's there to... He's wavy, man. He's just wavy. Like, I like what I see. I'm not the most knowledgeable on the guy, but I like what I see. DG, what would be your all-time Arsenal 11? These ones are always difficult, and you've put me on the spot, but nonetheless, I'll make an attempt. 54 likes. There's 144 of you on YouTube. Appreciative to those who have hit the like button. Come on to the rest of you. What are you doing? David Seaman in goal. Sol Campbell, Tony Adams, centre backs. I'm sorry, and I know he left like a pagan, but Ashley Cole left back. Sagna / Lauren right back. Midfield, I'm going to try and do it a bit differently. Patrick Vieira, Cesc Fabregas, Santi Cazorla. That's got everything. And I feel like I'm doing Ozil dirty. Omri, Alexis. And F it, Saka right back, man. Right wing, sorry. Let's do it a bit different. I'm sure I've answered that question many a time, so I tried to go for names I haven't picked. Big up DG. Let's all give Trossard his flowers. I dare say he's our best signing this season. We've got bare candidates that could be in there. Trossard could say for the time he's been here and what he's done, he's signed of the season. Zinchenko's probably got that crown at the moment. We can't forget what Jesus was on. Honestly, at 20 million, Julian Alvarez was signing of the season. Bro, his biggest problem is that they got Haaland, and Haaland maybe in the next 2 or so years won't be there. Might go Madrid. You've got him. But Haaland, Alvarez, Lisandro Martinez, Zinchenko, Trossard, Jesus, they're all up there for signing of the seasons. There's probably a couple more. I'm sure Newcastle got one. I don't know when they actually signed Botman. I don't think he was signed in the summer. I could be wrong. Would you keep Pepe? Probably not, because you're not going to be utilized. On the basis, I'd keep you for the squad because you're decent to be in the squad. And maybe there's games we need randomness if we don't bring in a winger, but your wages are killing the club. You're not going to play. I don't know how you are in the dressing room and stuff, but to play devil's advocate, a player that isn't playing, is as dangerous as a player that's playing that isn't happy. So you need to get over that. Alexis over Perez. Perez, my guy. But as I said, I'm trying not to go for all the invincibles. It would just be them. But Alexis has a claim to be better than Perez in that, as much as I love Perez, I can't lie. Let's call up Francis Caicedo to do his scouting thing. Oh, they got him for 10 million. Napoli are laughing. And to be fair, his agent came out the other day and said I offered him all around Europe. Napoli's gain is everyone's loss, because not only have they got a good player that's helping them challenge for the Champions League and the Serie A, and Serie A, obviously, they're going to turn that 10 million into 100 plus. It pays to do your research, I guess. PSG are looking to offload a bunch of players. I think we should join the raid if they could be easy with their wages. But who would they sell, though? We're not going to get Messi. We're not going to get Neymar. Yeah. Yeah, Botman was signed in the summer, so yeah, he's up there as well. I wouldn't be against going for Fabian Ruiz or Soler, even though I don't think they raised the curtain, but they're two players I like. They're cultured ballers and that. Who else could they be trying to sell? Did Napoli not pay 70 for Osimhen? I have a feeling you're right. Would you look at Renato? Nah, I don't see what he brings to the table at the Emirates. Injury prone, inconsistent in terms of performances. He's a good player, but yeah, man, it's a myth. It's a myth. It all depends. Who could possibly be sold? If they were dumb enough to sell us Verratti, and Verratti was actually on joining us, dream chasing, that's where I'm on. I think they're the dons we need. That's what we need, if I'm honest, man. That sort of guy in that role, man. That's how we go to the next level, if I'm honest. Would you sign Jonathan David from Lille? Decent player, but I'm personally not convinced. If Mikel Arteta wants to go for him, then you can do your thing in it. But me, I'm not necessarily convinced in him. That's just me. I'm not informed. I'll take the Emre kid, yeah, but if he's for sale, they're doing something wrong. How old is Verratti? He's probably got to be around Xhaka's age and that now, man. Or maybe even older. He's got to be the same. Yeah, Xhaka, Pogba, them kind of ages. So you are 30, 31 later this year. And he's got no willingness to leave PSG. He keeps saying, I'm happy. No Renato, but the league is too fast for him in England, also injury prone. And I just, again, as I keep saying, you're a good player, but meaty. That Cole Perez Henry left side can't break that up with Alexis and his many step overs. Hey, man, it's Alexis babysitters. Would you take Xavi Simmons from PSV? 100%. Jonathan David seems like a hype. He didn't do anything at the World Cup. It's a bit hard to just judge man on a tournament, good or bad. But you're right. I like Jonathan David. You can get a move. I wouldn't be against you in the squad. You're relatively proven. But I'm just not 100% convinced. But as you know, strikers, you need to give them a bit of time, really, to start showing other layers to their game. Quick question, DJ. How much would Martinelli and Saka cost in his current market, in your own opinion? Well, Martinelli's tied down. We've seen no player is worth what they want, what you're asking for. We need to be asking for 100 million. Simple as that. You don't know, because you look at people around his age doing what he's doing, whether he's worth that or not. That's what you got to ask for. If we was trying to buy Martinelli from a top 5 European team and he was on the contract for 4 or 5 years, it's 100-odd million. Saka definitely. Xavi Simmons is an excellent option, looking at a 30-40 million outlay. Jonathan David ain't all that, not going to lie. I don't see him improving on what we have. Would just be another squad player. That's what, again, I think he can improve. I think he has improved. I'm still not 100% convinced. But with me, if you're going to play Jonathan David or buy him, and we have scouted him from his days in Belgium, so we might see there's levels to his game. But for me, you might as well give Balogun an opportunity there. Well, to be fair, Canada as a whole did absolutely nothing at the World Cup. That's a pretty stupid example. I didn't say that, though. I just think he's a bit hot and cold. Sometimes he goes through real great. Statistically, he's doing well in France, but he goes through these moments where he's really on it, scoring goals. Not even the goals thing. I try and look at the performances, and then there's some where he goes missing, where he struggles. I'm sure last season at periods he struggled as well. So I wouldn't be against it, but I'm not really for it. I'd rather us give Balogun a chance then, or just do the scouting thing. As I said, go and find that Giroud when we bought him, or go and find that Adebayor when we bought him from Monaco, and then look what he went on to do. Ivan Toney would be lit, but as you said there, the money. No worries, Jose. Balogun should be given a chance in the squad. I think he will bang. 100% Balogun deserves opportunity. Marquinhos to continue his loan spell, come back next season. I mean, pre-season, you see what you're on, in it, really and truly. Show if Arteta could do anything. For me, probably go out alone again. I don't think you're ready yet, but I would love it. You know, I personally think unless I see something dramatic in the next 2 years from Marquinhos, just turn that 3 million into 30, innit? Keep it moving, really and truly. But he's just moved to Europe. Give him time, innit? Would like to see him on loan in the Prem, just because you see a bit more. But yeah, man. Certain Canadian players shone at the World Cup. Jonathan Davis didn't. To be fair, the winger did. Xavi Simmons' career path seems Odegaard for me. So hyped at young and has taken his time to develop, but looks a great player. And we've seen him play well against us. I'm having him because he can play out wide. Obviously, he's a central-based player, but he's shown he can play out wide. I think Arteta would love him as a footballer. And again, the difficult thing is these links, you don't know how true or not they are, because anyone can be creative writing journalistic articles, but I wouldn't be against it at all. But if you're going to spend 30, 40 on Xavi Simmons before you talk about the likes of Declan Rice, Caicedo, a right back, maybe a right-sided centre-back, or maybe a left-back if Tini leaves, I'm not saying we don't have enough money to do this, but you're kind of stretching your resources, you know. Xavi Simmons, as great as he is, it would be more of a, I don't know, it's like, if we was to go shopping in a supermarket, for me right now, midfield would be milk, eggs, and bread. There's some necessities, or water. Arguably, these are necessities. Xavi Simmons is like buying a pizza or buying some sweets. You don't necessarily need it. It's a bit of an icing on top of the cake, really and truly. As much as I like him, we need to get those. We need to deal with what we actually immediately need to deal with and keep it moving. Any pattern, no updates. He's just doing his thing at Blackpool, man. Has that Pereira kid played for Nottingham? I'm not sure. DG, do you think we can finesse Madrid again with Diaz? If Arteta wants to do it, I'm for it. But there's a lot of rumours. AC Milan want to keep him. He's going to be given a new contract and an opportunity at Madrid. He's for sale. I don't know. That's it there. You said it there. A bit of a luxury signing. Yeah, it's not really a luxury, but it's a luxury. I watched PSV, the kid balls out. He's serious, man. He's serious. He's fine. He looked like he was going to be a YouTube hype man, not really on nothing. I mean, he's had a wavy career. Man's played for PSG, PSV, and Barcelona already, but he looks decent. Very deep. Been called up to the. I'm sure he went to the World Cup, but don't quote me on that. He's definitely recently been called up to the Dutch squad. So yeah, man, it's a luxury signing, as you said there. It'd be interesting to see who we got, regardless, though, man. Let me type Arsenal in again and change this to the last hour. Come on, link us with Messi, man. Messi, if you want a real challenge, show you can do it in the Prem. It's easy at PSG, but it's not actually because a bunch of individuals. But still. Dwight York has said Arsenal target Douglas Luiz is not a top 4 player. I personally have not seen us linked with him again, but fair enough. We've also been linked with Okun Koku of Feyenoord once again. We've been linked with him since he was 16, 17, arguably. If I'm honest with you. So we'll have to see how these things develop. Now, yeah, Xavi played against France and Gibraltar. Yo, DG, apparently Rice's fee's been agreed. Who said this? Where did you see it? Who is saying it? I would love it to be right. I hope I don't know anything in it, but it's sounding banduli. I hope so. Like even social media was saying that whoever's birthday, I think it was Gabriel Jesus' birthday. They said Declan Rice was there again. Hella rumors. I don't know what to believe or not to believe. There's some other couple articles here as well. Let's click on these things in a sec. Let's see what else is out there. Just seems like was, if I'm honest with you, man. It's again, we're desperate for news. As I always say, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. So people are always going to tell these lies. With Klaassen, someone threw something in his head. Rate these English right wingers in order. Theo Walcott, Aaron Lennon, Sean Wright Phillips. Walcott, Wright Phillips, Lennon for me. So yeah, if that helps you. Again, if we look at some other transfer news, people, I don't know whether to believe this or not, but I typed in Arsenal on Google for you lot, and there you have it. Apparently, it's time to leave for Sasha Boy. Arsenal, the biggest favourite for the Premier League Championship this season, has been interested in Galatasaray's right back Sasha Boy for a long time. According to news in the British press, Arsenal sent its observers to the league to examine where Galatasaray played with Adnan Demirspor. In the report sent to the English club, pardon me, it was stated that the player had to be transferred. I think that means via Google Translate that they want to sign him. Fair enough. Apparently, Boy recently said it's time to take the next step in my career, but we have to wait for the end of the season. We'll see what happens. Apparently, he's been linked with Milan as well, but he prefers a move to Arsenal. Again, we don't know what is to be said in that regard. Fresnadal's been linked to Dortmund. Once again, it seems like Dortmund have taken the lead in the race for the young Spanishman Ivan Fresnadal, people allegedly. Decided to reinforce the squad with another right back, the Embelen from Alavlande, came to seek information in recent weeks about Fresnadal, but at this moment, it believes the Germans will prevail. Also, target of Arsenal, the Spanish under-19 international, is one of the few highlights of Valladolid in the current season. The 18-year-old has a contract until June 2025 and is valued at more than 10 million euros. At this point, Sporting is only working with the likely departure of Hector Bellerin, who is on loan from Barcelona until June and should return to Betis. Therefore, there is a need to reinforce the right wing for 2023-24. So yeah, Rice ain't moving till summer. No fees will be agreed. Again, on the back burners, I'm sure Arsenal are speaking with his advisors and things like that, and seeing what the framework of a deal in all aspects would look like. But I don't know, man. I don't know. In terms of, I'll be surprised if we come out in here today, Arsenal, and think you have agreed that. And you got to remember, even if that was the case, the timing, West Ham got battered yesterday. They're in a relegation fight. The manager's probably gone. The rebuild's probably, probably needing to happen. That won't send but not if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, but that won't send the best of messages to their fans. It will lead to them being disgruntled, and it wouldn't help Declan Rice in the remainder of the season because their captains jump ship. You know how football fans are. If Declan Rice has a good game, great, but if he has a bad game, just because he's had a bad game, good and bad games happen, they're going to say, oh, it's because you're not motivated, you don't want to be here anymore, blah, 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 blah. This is what's going to unfortunately happen in football. This is something that happens. So even if that was a thing, it might be one of them where it's a terrible secret being kept. Moises is being backed at least until after the weekend. I can't lie. Moises, I genuinely thought I'd wake up this morning and you was gone. I don't know how you can do that. Dortmund can offer him playing time. So can we. But you're right. You've got Benjamin White in front of you, arguably Tomiyasu. Hopefully having Mikel Arteta, seeing what we're doing, the drip of Arsenal, the Spanish connection, not just with Arteta, but with the coaches, seeing what we've done for young players. Hopefully that tips the balance, man. But you're right. DG, thoughts on Chelsea hiring Lampard? Scattergun approach. That just tells me there's no plan, or that they're buying themselves more time to assess options, whether that is Jose, Conte, Luis Enrique, Julian Nagelsmann, Ruben Amorim, De Zerbi, and the 20 other names that have probably been linked with Chelsea since I've said that. So, yeah. Hopefully, it means we're more likely to smash 70 likes, 30 more until we have 100. Hopefully, that means we're more likely to win when we play Chelsea. We're going to need to do such, man. But yeah, I would love to hear that. Yes, DJ, I'd love us to get a scumbag like Ivan Toney to spice up our team. He has big character and still is young. And I was watching Man United, Brentford, while I was watching the El Clasico. His link-up plays wavy. There was one incident. It's like he's back. They're having a phase of play. It's like he's backheeled it. Played a forward pass with his back heel when in like the last 20 minutes, the only time Brentford tried to play football against United. I think this guy's wavy, man. He's wavy, man. He's wavy. 4 managers in a year, Chelsea top of the bottom. I mean, check out the video I did with Matisse. He said that Kante played his first game made his first start under Graham Potter the other day. Crazy. Kante missed the whole Graham Potter banter era. It's crazy out here. Absolutely crazy. And it's Chelsea are going to need to find stability and find stability fast. It's not healthy for the fans. It's not healthy for the club. It's not healthy for players that are there, potential incoming players. I can't believe Chelsea let Musiala go and kept Hudson-Odoi. To be fair, they tried their best to keep Musiala. It's just Dortmund. I said Dortmund. Bayern Munich said, we've got a plan for you, and that's going to happen. It's like us with Yunus Musa. We tried our best to do such. But it just didn't happen. So yeah, don't appear like there's anything new where Arsenal are concerned. I like that guy that come on for Brentford. He looks a bit raw. He had a big chance. He cleared past Lisandro Martinez, a great little bit of play towards the end of the game. We'll have to see in the years to come. Tony did that wheelchair touch. It was wavy. Kante didn't want to get involved with Harry Potter. It's a dogfight out there, dog. Shout out to Matt Turner. But on that note, though, people, with it being an hour and 4 minutes, I'm pretty sure I've got a video that I'm meant to be doing with someone. It won't be live, but yeah, assuming they ain't flopped, let me actually make sure that's that as well, because that should be a quick half an hour. Then I can upload it for you guys. Something tells me not to trust him. So we're going to have to see how it goes, people. But on that note, you lot stay safe, stay blessed. Appreciate you for your talking points, for your engagement, etc., etc. It's a pleasure to be here day in and day out. Check out the other videos. Make sure your notification bells are on. Make sure you're checking out the YouTube community tab. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow on Twitch, Twitter, all of that good stuff. Information is there. Most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you lot soon, man.
There's always just that active red line defending. I think it's like